Good morning, traders. Welcome to the daily webinar. Let's start. Let's get some trades going. We are already in a New Zealand trade. Since this will be in YouTube, uh, if you don't know the method I'm using, it's called wave analysis. If you would like to join us in our group, we're in the trading room right now. I'm giving the traders a lecture, which is not good, but I do it every now and then so that I can bring up their morals and get them to work more effective. Our trading room is amazing and it's working great. So this morning in the Asian session, we took this trade, we took the Aussie, we took the yen, and we're looking at gold and silver. Some of my traders might be in if they were earlier than me. When I came, it was too late, so we're waiting for a pullback to get it. I'll go through all of that. If you would like to join us, you can do that anytime. It's very simple. You send me a Skype message, I send you the details, and you join. You can join two ways. Either you join the group directly immediately, which means you're in the group with me now and in all the sessions we do daily, which is about 4 or 5 sessions we do daily in the trading room. We discuss trades, we take trades, and you pay for the course, you get to learn the course. There's a course coming up on the 19th, which is a live course. It's 6 weeks of live training. And I mean live training. We're not just giving you some videos. That's never going to make you successful. And continuous training for the rest of your life. You have lifetime access. Complimentary lifetime access, I should say. Which means as long as you follow our rules and you're a nice person, you're going to be here. That's all. So with that, look in the description. There's a Skype. Send me a message, and you will be among amazing people. And I mean amazing people. I like to give them a little lecture every now and then, but they're the best people in the world because this is the best group in the world. Let's go. Yep, we're recording already, right? So let's start with the dollar index. Dollar index is correcting, and I would say it's correcting to the upside because we don't know if this is a correction or if this is the start of an up move. And we wouldn't know that as yet, right? So far, I'm looking at it as a correction like this for one more down. That's what I'm looking at. There's enough reasons why I'm looking at it that way. Let's see if it's that. If it is not that, then we will let it go. We're in trade, so we'll be happy that I'm wrong and let it come here, make a correction, and then we will buy. Anywhere it makes a correction, we'll buy. So if I'm wrong and this thing keeps going, we will be happy. My group will be very happy because we are in trades, right? We're in trades and we like them to go more than we think they can go. Gold, the magic work. So one person was asking me about gold when we were in this consolidation here. If that person hears me, he's watching my YouTube video, you can make the comment so people can know that you're real and you actually ask me that question. And I actually answer you because we did it on, I think it was on Skype you asked me, right? When this was going on and it was coming down here and it was somewhere here and he asked me, oh, is this thing falling? You said it's going to go up. And I said, no, it's still in a correction. It's going down and it could go a little more down because it's in correction. And what I mean by that is we're still in this impulse. So we're in correction. That means we have to make a next impulse to the upside. Now they dropped a little lower and then make the impulse. No problem. We understand that. We see that. Told you it's going to come up. It's up. Now you're at the top here. Guess what? One more down. That's a 90% chance. So if you get a sell set up here, you should take the trade. Now let me show you what we were looking at in the trading room this morning. We saw this pattern. See this? 1, 2, and this is coming here. We were here. I said to my traders, there's a chance it could still be a flat. They're going to go one more up and then come down. And I will show you a trade that appeared that actually did that, the Europon. Somebody remind me when we get into Europon to show this top where we thought it will fall, but then they make a new high and now they might be coming down, right? So that could happen. It fell because we were waiting. I was waiting personally for a consolidation here and then take it. Well, it fell. If you put the entry order, great. Some of my traders might have put the entry order because you can put it and wait for the consolidation. If you put it, great. If you didn't put it, then wait for this to make a consolidation. It will make a consolidation somewhere before it gets to the bottom. If you look at the last 3 waves in it, they made consolidations. This one had, this one had, this had, this. They will make a consolidation. It will make a consolidation, something like this at some point. And that would be the sell to the downside. We're expecting to break the low. And when we break the low, 2 things could happen. It could continue to go down and we will all be very happy, which means this could continue to go down, or it could stop here and go back up. Which one it's going to do? I have no idea. I don't even need to know that now. Big picture, it will go down. And when I said it will go down big picture, I mean this. See, I told you that when we were here, that it's likely it could come back and come very close to this low because it could be a running flat. And one person said that's never going to happen. Gold is in an uptrend, it will continue to go. Well, maybe he's right. But so far, I am right because we are getting good sells in it. And that's, I wouldn't be surprised if we get here and he's still insisting that no, it can go down. Well, by then it might go up because if this becomes a flat, we could go back up. And it's going down very nice. So this pattern, you want that sell because we don't know how far it's going to go. Now, it going down doesn't mean it has to, go down like this. It could go like this, come back, make a deep one, and still drop. See these deep ones? They're all attached to a running flat. So it could come here, start to drop, make another running flat, and continue to go. There will be a series of running flats like that. So this is a regular flat. Let it come to the low. Get your sell. I hope you can get in the trade today because we will get a flag sometime today or tomorrow, and you can get right into that trade. These were buys going up, so let me take them out. That was the stop. This was the buy. This was the buy. We're over with the buys. Let's go with the sells now. Come back to break this low. I can take this off. Oh, I wanted it to go break the top. And here's another gem that I gave you that you probably forget. You put it in a corner and you forget about it. Remember I told you breaking these tops and bottoms are super important. And one of the gurus I taught him, I know that, he left my group and he's a guru. He went and he found the audacity to say, this guy doesn't know what he's saying. The tops and bottoms are not important. How did I know? Well, somebody watched his video and they sent it back to me. And I was like, that's exactly what I did. I don't care. But then I said, he may be misleading some people. So I went back and I stressed it. They are important. And I know he watched my video. So if he's watching this one, please come back. Let me teach you. Let me finish off your teaching so you can go back and then do your guru business. Because tops and bottoms are very important if you're doing pattern and precision of the patterns, to understand what pattern you're making and to understand the bigger structure in general. I don't know how he missed that part in his training. It is important. Make sure you get them right because that will tell you what type of patterns you're looking at. So that is why we insist on this is going to break the top to be a regular flat. That's what happened, right? Broke the top. Is it coming down now? Well, I hope so. It doesn't have to come down now. It could still go a little more. And that is why this morning we were cautioned of the sell. But once we get a flag, we start selling like crazy. There was a small one, but if you get a bigger one, that's a sell. Silver sell. Right? Silver to sell. You can be in the silver sell because silver had a sharper flat there, sharper impulse. The flat wasn't too high. And you can either put it here or you could have put it from that point, but you can put it here if you want, right? If you're not in the sell, don't worry. It's going to pull back. Once this pull back, and it will pull back, I can tell you where it's going to pull back. Somewhere here very soon, you'll start to get an up move, put an entry order because you might be getting a little small running flat there. If not, it makes a bigger correction. Once it starts to pull back, go for the sell. Can it still be a buy? Can this still be just a correction and go back up? It's still possible. That is why you wait for the flag. The flag confirms the downside. If this reverses and go back up like that, a buy on the break of this structure is a valid buy. Same for the gold. That doesn't mean structurally the gold is changing. It just means you're getting one more impulse to the upside and then you're still going to come down. That downside is still going to happen. There's a 95% chance they'll go break that low. That's the most common flat. Well, the second most common flat that exists because running flat is the most common one. So if we get a flag, we sell. Euro. Yesterday, we were trying to sell the euro. I told you this is a perfect sell setup here. And I told you if they come way back to the top, we'll cancel it because that would be a flat. They actually went up, not way to the top. So we still had our entry order here. They came very close to tagging, didn't tag, and then go back up. And I'm like, okay, what the hell just happened? So when we were in the trading room, I was asking my traders, is it possible we're looking at a contracting flat? Because euro has done this before. A contracting flat, once this go up. The only time you could buy this is either when you get this flag, which would be a break-even trade anyways, or if you get a bigger flag when you break the top. Then you can assume that it's going up. Well, now it didn't do that, so now we're coming down back, and I'm assuming maybe that it's not a contracting flat, but a running flat. All contracting flats has the possibility of becoming a running flat. That's the danger with contracting flats. So this comes here. If we get an upside somewhere here, we're buying. Right, so it can go a little more and then maybe even a little lower as an expanding flat, but it could be a buy because we broke the top and there's a rare chance that this is actually the start of the bigger correction to the downside. It's possible. And I mean correction because we're correcting this one. We're correcting this move up. So either we would look at this as a running flat, and if we get a turn and a flag, we'll buy. Or this comes down here, make a corrective structure, drop one more and then go. Which of the two? It doesn't matter because the next move to the upside would be a buy, either as a correction or as an impulse. So you take the buy and you'll figure it out as it goes. It's that simple. Now we just have to wait for this to finish. You don't have to sell the euro. We're not selling the euro. We're selling everything else but the euro and buying everything else on the other side, right? Bang, this is a sell I squandered. We all had the entry order here this morning, and I closed it because I didn't like, and I can tell you why I didn't like this flat in the middle here. That's just a personal thing. I didn't like it. I told my traders, watch it. If you're going to stay with the trade, watch it because they can do this and they can go back up there. And I've seen that happen a few times. So I didn't like it. Well, they're coming down, and I was like, I told you, if you didn't hear me, if you were not in my trading room, you might still be in that trade, right? So good for you. Watch it when it comes to this level here. Why? It's not a line. It's a pattern we're looking at. We're looking at these possible patterns that they can go back up, either as an impulse or another correction like this. That's if it's channeling. Now, in rare cases, they might break out of this. If they break out of that, just wait for a correction and sell again. Right? So you're in sells. I think that you'll get a flag or two more before we get to the low. But if you look at New Zealand, the chances are they'll just go to that bottom and reverse because New Zealand is like the easiest one to recognize what's happening. We bought that up yesterday, and I told you we were going to sell this down. We were already in the sell, and when it comes here, this is a flat, so this should go back up, which means very soon we're going to be in a buy to the upside. By the time you watch this webinar, we might already be buying New Zealand. All right, by the time you get the webinar, my traders are getting it right now when they got it this morning, but by the time you see the webinar, we will be in the buy going up because we're in this sell, and it's about to finish. Once it comes here, we'll start to take profit or move into profit. Because once this move is finished, we're heading for the upside, which means gold and silver could still make one more up. Be careful, right? So because this pattern is very clear, we've seen this pattern before. And, most times when you get it like that, they give you at least one more up. They give you at least one more up like this, and then all of this could still be correction for downside. See, all of this is corrective structures, right? They're not kind of aggressive impulse to the upside. An impulse to the upside would look like this. This is an impulsive move. These are corrections. This is a correction. That's a smaller one. This is a smaller one. This is a smaller one. This is a bigger one. So this one will go up one more, and this would be the bigger correction. Now this is still correction, which means big move is downside. Problem is, how high would it go? And can it make more of that? Right? Just trade it. We're trading in every corrective part of it, right? Because these waves are so big, you can trade them up and you can trade them down. Aussie, same here. This morning we looked at this and we said, well, maybe this is finished. So look at that, go there. You can put an entry order here for this. But I caution about this one because we don't know what the pattern is making here. We know what it's doing on the pound. We know what it's doing in the euro. We know what it's doing. We don't know what this one is doing. It's because this is just one piece still going down. Right? And if this correction is what we think it is, and this is going to come to the low, then you would have something like this, and that could be a leading diagonal to the downside. The first move that looks like a leading diagonal. After a leading diagonal, you normally get a correction and you drop, not an impulse. New Zealand needs to make an impulse up, then drop. This could be a correction to the upside, then drop. If this is a leading diagonal, I don't know that it's a leading diagonal. We'll figure that out, right? When it's finished. If it comes and break that low, we will probably put it as a leading diagonal, because it has all the features of a diagonal pattern. See this? If that comes and break the low, it has to break this low to complete it, which will give you something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it still has to confirm it's a diagonal pattern, which means you have to get a flat pattern to follow it. Because if you don't have that correction, then it's not a diagonal. It only looks like a diagonal, but it wouldn't not be what the diagonal should do, right? So if we get that, we will say it's a leading diagonal and we know how to trade those. So for now, this is just a correction. That is just a correction. This is just an impulse, that is an impulse, and this is making an impulse. That's all. How this impulse will go and how far it will go will decide what the pattern is. For now, we're just trading. Any flag you get, you can sell. New Zealand, what for reversals? Don't sell flags here. Be careful. This thing could stop and reverse. We'll book the profit. CAD is coming back very sharp. We looked at the possibility of buying here this morning, but I wasn't too sure that it's going to go very fast because we came down like this. And every time we come back into the structure, not breaking that top, yesterday we told you about that, it normally reverses to the downside. So even that sharp wave would not mean anything. Let me show you here. Let's go back. I just want to compare this. The previous one is the same. See, they make that sharp one up. Let's assume it's this one after this down move, right? After this down move. See how sharp this pullback? Then they drop and look at the pullback. All you had was a running flat. So you have the sharp moves going up, but it didn't break the top. That's a significant thing to say we're changing direction. And they didn't, and then they dropped. So this sharp move here is not enough reasons to buy it. We were worried about it, that it might not be that sharp. And even if it's sharp, it could fall back really fast. So what happens with this move is what is going to be important. So I just my traders, if we're going to buy, let them break at least this top. Let it go break that top. And any flag or correction after that would be buy for the long-term trade, which is about 500 pips up. Right? It will start the daily correction to the upside. And for that, we need to break this top as well. But if we get a move that comes up and make a correction, that'd be it. But this one could drop anytime. This could start dropping right now. Make a flag, drop again, do this, you get a running flat, and then you go. Because this one was a smaller flat than this impulse. So this piece could be a big flat in here, and then you just keep dropping. It could repeat exactly what it had previously. If it's not going to, no problem. Once it breaks out of this and make a correction, we are going for the bigger daily correction. We're not talking about a little trade in there. We're talking about a trade that is going to go 500 pips up to this level. So there's a lot of trade to get to the upside, and we are just here. So that's not a big deal, right? Let it confirm it's breaking out. If you're going to trade it to the upside, you want that confirmation, right? We already traded the cat to the upside. If you remember this one, the impulse, we trade this impulse. We trade this down actually. And now we're saying we traded part of this up, but we said, let's wait and see because we don't think it's going to break the top. And this might not go farther. This might stop here and start it to go back down. And that will give you a perfect running flat and somewhere in the future. That's the first impulse of a running flat. Swiss, yesterday we made the mistake of waiting for a flat in here. This was a small correction, so we said let them come here, go there, and then we'll put the entry order for the sell because we know it's a sell. We know it's going to go down much more. And we had this one and we had those two, but this one we didn't put it. So I let it go back up and then we put it a little higher and get the trade, and we made the mistake and it dropped. Small correction drop. So this one today we're putting this one. We're putting the entry order right now. We already have it. It doesn't matter, right? I do think this one is going to be a bigger correction, right? And then we will sell it, but we might get buys up here. It's not a buy yet. You can see the way it was going up this morning. There isn't any buy set up in this, right? It's going up, and I know it's going to go up as a correction, but there's no buy set up here. See that? The trades, this thing could have fallen if you try to buy it, right? So the best thing to do is let it go. If it makes a flag here now, like yesterday, if we think they're making a correction here, I think we might go with a contracting flat from what happened yesterday with this piece. I actually thought this one would go break the top. So you can make an argument for a contracting flat there. Or we might be making some kind of a running flat here. So this entry order goes, because if that is a running flat, it's going to drop. So the entry order is going to be here for the sell. The move to the downside is a big one. We showed you that, and it's already going really, really fast. See how fast it's going? And remember this. So this could come all the way to the bottom here, and it could come really fast. So put the entry order for the sell on the 1 hour and wait for the trade. We're not interested in the buy in this one. Yen, we took the buy in the yen simply because there's a target to the top, which the yen has not fulfilled. That is this one, and it might still go there. That's why we're buying the yen. We sold the yen yesterday. You remember, you should have been in the sell. You should have got that trade. You should have got this trade if you took it, and you should have got this one for a break even. Right? So we'll start selling this now when it gets impulsive. We can put a sell here again today. I think it could go down. There's still chances, but we bought it just in case. The buy is not so much for big move up, but if it is going to make that big move up, you want the trade. So now, if you're not in that buy, I would say put a sell here. That buy might be a break-even trade for us. Put a sell here. or put a sell under the low, because this might be more correction. I think it's going to be bigger correction like this one here, like this move up here, right? We've already had a flag here and a small one here. We can come back here, make a running flat, keep doing this for a while, and then drop. Sorry. So the buy is just in case if it would take off, then we want to be in the buy. You don't want to, the yen has a target to the upside. So if it's going to go, you will. But worst case is you're going to get it out for break even. That's the worst case. We'll take it out for break even. EuroCAD, did I miss one? CAD, Swiss yen, no, didn't miss anyone. EuroCAD is consolidating. So if you took the sell yesterday, that would be a loss. If you took a trade here, that would be a loss because this is where we put the stop loss. That's a small one. So this right now it's consolidating. I think this would make more consolidation. You got this, you pull back, you probably do this, you come back one more here, and we'll get a bigger flat. So there isn't a trade. If you want to buy it here, if you're buying this to the upside, be careful when it breaks that up, because I don't think this is all the consolidation. That is just one piece of a move like this. So this piece has a lot of clusters and consolidation in it too. That wouldn't be the impulse to the upside, but that could be the start of a 1, 2, 3 wave structure. Come back down like this and then go. So the buy is already not valid, but you can get a sell one more and then you'll get the upside. Let's see. Let it consolidate. Sorry, I don't know why this keeps popping up. New Zealand yen. Okay, we're going down. This one didn't work. I was thinking they would break this here, but then they went back, dropping. We would probably look for an expanding flat, and they're a bigger expanding flat than the one we're looking at right now. Probably something like that. If you're going to take the trade, wait for a small flag. The expanding flat is gone. You wouldn't be able to trade it. So wait for a small flag to confirm sell and then go with it. Back to this low, right? If you took the first one and you kept it, good, but you shouldn't have kept it. You should close the trade here and wait for the next setup, right? Now, you may want to take the next setup because see there, sometimes you get some real sharp moves like that. This most likely would not be the yen, New Zealand. It could be the yen because New Zealand, we know, is going to finish the move and go back up. So if they're going to drop here, that will have to be a yen trade, not the New Zealand trade. So you might wait for a flag and then take the trade. CAD yen. So this might be what we thought it was, an ending diagonal, right? An expanding ending diagonal, because it did drop like I told you it's going to drop. And that confirms. So what will confirm the ending diagonal? A reversal, a correction here, and then more upside. That is what will confirm it. Not just one move up, right? One move up is just telling you made an impulse. So what we would wait for is if they make a correction in here. Go back up, come back down, and then we'll start to buy it. Now, it could be that is what they're doing. It could be they'll drop one more lower. I don't see if they drop one more lower. That would be a different pattern, not the ending diagonal. And then we would look at this as a running flat. Right? It could come one more lower here and then go back up. Right? So right now, is it going to continue to go down or go back up? Wait for it. You don't have a trade setup. Right? If you sold this, put it to break even. That was a setup. We didn't look at it this morning, but that was a setup. That's a break-even trade. Watch this to see if it comes back here and do something like this. Then we're buying. All right, let it give us a flat and then we'll buy. Swiss, you have a flat you can buy. You get this. One more will break this top. Let's go into 4 hours, see where we're going. Yeah, they can break the top. Nothing's wrong with that. That is not this top, by the way. That's a previous top. So this could go. That's a trade to the upside. It's a short trade. We'll still have to see how far it goes and see whether they will break that top there. This is the bigger top. Let me take this out. This is the bigger top. I'll put it here just to get this top. They can break the top. Nothing's wrong with breaking the top. It depends on how you look at this pattern in general. So there's a buy setup here forming on this one. Aussie CAD. Okay, we were expecting this to be a buy. Once this happened, once it starts to consolidate here, you got to be careful because you already had the consolidation here. This should go. There was a small flag here yesterday when you put the entry order. It didn't trigger it, and it consolidated more, so take that off. And for the downside, let's pull this now. If this is going to continue to go down, let's say we're going to go lower, take this off. If that is a bigger correction, let me see the bigger picture. Oh yeah, this could be just a correction. This could be just a bigger correction in here and still more up. Like 1, 2, 3. If you're going to sell it, wait for a flag. So this could turn and go back up. If you want to sell it, wait for it to make a flag and then one trade only, because they might not break that low. This is just going to be 1, 2, 3, a bigger correction in the making. So if you're going to sell here, take the trade, you get a flag, take the trade, put your stop, and then move the stop, right? Aussie Yen. 1 second, guys. Okay. Aussie Yen is coming down quite a lot, so let's see where this is going. Okay, this one is straight because we have a running flat here. At least that is what it looks like. And this has to go back and at least break that top. All right. So for now, it's a pullback, but it's a pretty deep pullback. Not one that we expected. I thought they'll take off from this point. So watch it at this point. If you're, I don't see, we are not selling it. So if you're in the sell, you have to decide where you're going to take profit, because I don't think we'll break this low. I know we're just making a deeper correction here. Go back there, come back here, and then go. It's just going to be a bigger flat in the middle. So if you're selling this, move your stops and wait to see where it goes. Right. Aussie Swiss. Okay, this is a sell. It's coming down. This you can sell because this is still coming down here. And the whole structure would become some kind of a bigger correction, more complex than this one, right? Because you've got that move up. You've got a 1, 2, 3 here. You've got to move up. You can look at it this way. You can look at this whole piece here as some kind of a correction, like a 1, 2, 3 coming down still here. Maybe go back up one more. That would be 1, 2, 3. You still have to come back here and then go, right? So it's just becoming a very complex correction. Coming back to the low. Let's just put the impulse. We want the top and the bottom of the impulse to see where we are in the correction. And the closer you come to this low, 1 second. The closer you come to this low, the higher the probability this thing is going to go back up, because you're in the correction, right? This is the correction coming down. At some point, it starts to go back up. So you would look for buy setups. Aussie, New Zealand, stay away from this. It'll go up eventually, but see this before they go? See this? So probably stay here a while and then go. Euro pound. Euro pound is the one I wanted to show you. So we have a very similar flat like the Swiss dollar, except it's a bigger one. This one is a smaller one, sorry. We traded it up, and once we average, when we think that this is the equal size of that, they don't have to be equal, right? That's the equal size of it. So the question is, would it come down from there and now make a new low? And that's what we were expecting. So yesterday in the 15 minutes, we saw this. You have this one, then you have 1, 2, 3. See that? It came back all the way to the top, just like the gold. That is why we were cautioning the gold, and we said put the entry, wait for a flag before you sell. In this case, we put the entry order here, but it never tagged us. It just came down, make a flat, and go right back up, right? So we have a flat here. We broke the top. See, we broke this top. Take that out. We were trying to sell this. If this would fall, they go to make a new high. You got to be careful of the buys here. Now, what you want is a reversal. So you make that one, you make a small flag, you make a new high, wait for this to pull back, make a flag, and then you can sell. The possibility for the downside is very high. The probability of that thing completing the pattern we look at is very high. So you actually want that trade to the downside. So what you're watching here, let's see if we get a reversal today. If we get a flag, we'll sell. If you're going to still buy this, you have to wait for another flag again or another pattern before you can buy. Let's say it's going to go higher. It could go higher. It could become an expanding flat. So this is the one. That is why when you see this, you want to it has to either drop lower and make a flag, or you can put, in this case, we put the entry order because it was risky, but if it would drop, it would be a good trade, right? On the gold, let me just go back to the gold and show you. Same pattern at the top there, see? Same flat at the top there. And that is why when this drop here, you don't just put the entry order. You wait for it to make a flag now. If you put the entry order, you can do that, but it's have to be more caution that it could just tag you like this and go back up. So you're more caution because of the big flat that you have at the top there. Come back all the way into the impulse. So now if you get a flag, this could still go up, right? This could still actually go back up and be a 1, 2, 3. So if this goes up, make a flag, we will buy. If it makes a flag here without going up, No impulse, just make a flag there and go down. That's a sell. So now it's either going to be a buy or a sell. We'll see which one. A new high is no problem. They can keep making new highs. So let's go back. Where's the euro pound? We're in the euro pound, right? So let's wait to see what this gives us. You're in New Zealand. This is upside. It's still going up. You'll probably still get this one didn't consolidate. They go to make that flag. So upside. We're actually back at the top, but this one is a correction. See that? So there's a chance you can come back here and then go make a flat there. Simple like this flat. See? Make a flat and then come down. Make a flat and then go up. So there's a good chance that you're going to come down because this looks like the B part of that wave. 1, 2, 3 looks like the B part in this one. So if we get that down move, we can look for a sell setup there and then buy it. All right, this is a very likely trade. Keep your eyes on that today. Euro yen. Look for the buy. Let it make a correction here. Give you a flag and then look for a buy setup. You already have a flat to the downside. You have 1, you have 2, you have 3. That's an expanding flat. Look for the buy setup here. Euro Swiss. Let's see how far more it has to go. Just a little more to break this low. Right? It has to come and break the low. And when it breaks this low, you will complete this pattern. And then we're going to go back up. We'll probably come back one more down and then go. This is a maybe one because we have this sharp one here. So it's possible. So once it breaks the low, you start looking for upside. If you're in the sell, good. If you're not in the sell, be careful. Don't sell it to the bottom. Wait for it to finish that bottom and then go for the buy. Euros. Okay, we're coming back way back to the top here. So let's see what this pattern is. I'm not trading this. This is a corrective structure in the middle here, and it's not very clear to us whether this was all the B part because they pull back and then they pull back and then they pull back and now they're going. So you have 1, you have 2. This could be the C part of it, but with a big correction in the middle, which is not so common, but it happens. We will consider that once we break the top. If they break this top, we'll consider that this is a C wave and look for sell setups. But we would be aware, because of the flatness of this, I'm not looking at this to being an impulse. So that makes this one here the impulsive wave up. So that would be 1, 2, 3. And that means from here, somewhere there, once we break the top, somewhere from here, we could start the downside of it. So put it in the 4-hour, and then you'll see what we're looking at. Daily properly. So what we're looking at is this one makes a correction here. And then look for the down move. See? One more impulse like that to the downside. How far that should take us? Well, I showed you this already, but I'll just show you again. This was the last impulse down. This was the correction up, and we're repeating this to the downside. So if you get a sell set up there, go for it. Now, it doesn't go in one straight line, right? You can see that this had a lot of pullback in it. I'm on the weekly and the daily, you would watch it, you'd see the amount of pullback it had, right? This is what it looked like in the daily. We're somewhere here. We're right now making one of these flats. We already have a big one like that. We're making one of these. See? And then they drop and you make another one and they drop and they drop. But you can see how much you're going to get as you go along. Each one of them will give you about 50, 60 pips. If you want to keep some of them, that would be great. Once you get the sell, you can keep it for longer term. So we made that one. We made this one. We're making this one. This is a slightly bigger one. Once this is completed, slightly bigger one, you start to go down. You'll make small ones as you go. And then you'll make a bigger one and then small ones again to the downside, all the way until you break this low. Pancad, we're still stuck in the sideways. That is this piece before we drop to this level, right? So we will drop. We might not break the low, but we'll come to it because we broke the top. Or we'll come to it. So let's see if they're coming down. Now we're still in the B part of it. I still think this is the B part. So we had this one down. We had that up. And now we're getting this down. We need one more up to complete this pattern. See? One more up now. So if we start to get buy set up, we can go for that. And then we'd look for the next big sell to the downside. Let's see if we have any buy set up. Nothing as yet. They're still going down. So we don't have any buy set up. But once this is finished, start to give you up trade. Pound Aus. going up, came down to the bottom. And it looks like if you get a flag here, we're going to buy because the buy will take us way back to the top. So let's look at that in the 4 hour. See this? So this is a sharp move though. It's really sharp, but you also have a sharp reversal. So if you get a flag here, we buy all the way back to that top, right? Can we look at this whole big sharp one as some kind of running flat in the future? Maybe. If this goes very slow, we'll probably come back here and then go, which means you'll get a big running flat here again, like you have this one, like you have with this one, and you could get another one here, right? So you get an impulse, you get a big flat, you get an impulse, you get a big flat, you get an impulse, you get a big flat, you get another impulse. All of this becomes one big corrective structure. And then you drop. And you will probably drop really fast. So buy setup on the 1 hour today. By the way, if you don't want to miss all those moves, you may want to join our group. Just a reminder, so you can know if you don't want to miss all those groups and look at each part as it's developing, you may want to join that move. You can get these daily webinars every single day. Once I stop giving them free this week, you can almost get them every day if you join our. You can join the group in installment, which if you can't pay full for it, you can just pay by installment and you will still get the webinars. Okay, let's go. Pound New Zealand. Yeah, I closed my sell a little too early, right? I closed the sell in here. That buy we took it off a break even. I didn't take this sell because I was looking at this pattern and thought we'll do this and then come down. So they just dropped a little more. They still have to go back up because you have that sharp wave there, right? So at some point we still have to come back here, but then we're going to go down. That will give you a running flat, right? Something like this. Something like this. That is if this is the one going up, right? That doesn't necessarily, it could still drop and then give you that and then go, right? So if we get sell setups here now, we will sell. We're actually breaking out of this big corrective structure up. Remember we told you about this when it was going up, that this is one big corrective structure. I said when they break the top, look for downside. It broke the top. We started to sell and consolidate. So we closed the sells. You get a buy. You could have bought it here. Buy there. This is still a buy setup if this was going to be another flat. Instead, it's not a flat now. It's actually going very impulsively to the downside. So any pullback here to finish that running flat would mean more downside. And that downside would probably bring you all the way to here. See that? Remember, Pong always has a big move to the downside once the flat is finished. This one also the same thing. Once you're finished, you can get a very big move to the downside. Where would this take you? Big picture. Well, we just completed this running. We just completed this correction. And we're looking at this impulse coming down. Let's see where that impulse started. This is the impulse. And we're somewhere at the top here. See that? See that correction there at the top? No, we're slightly lower. We had this bigger one here already. We had that. We kind of had some small ones in the middle. So we're somewhere in this one. So consider we're making that one here now. And after that, you're going to get this trade. Right? If we follow exactly like how this is going, this is the correction. And this is the one. Now we're making the biggest correction here right now. And the biggest correction in this whole move down was this piece. We are right now doing exactly that here. And once this start to go, you're coming to retest this low and maybe lower than that. The big picture will put you much lower than that, right? Big picture, once you start to get this, you're going to go something like that. And then we'll see whether we go back up. So go to the 1 hour. Wait for the pullback. If you get a sell setup now, take it. We'll still take the sell setup. We don't have a sell setup. We're getting a sharp move up, right? You're getting a pretty sharp move up here. See? So we'll have to wait until this consolidates here. If it consolidates, then that will give you a sell, something like this. That would be a sell. If we're going up for the running flat now, then we're going to keep going up, make a bigger correction here, go there, and then drop. So that will complete this big running flat from this piece here, from this one, right? That running flat will come. So if you're selling this, you have to be cautious with this one because the running flat is still coming. Let's go. On Swiss, this is going down some more, so I think we'll just get a bigger correction. We have one more up. I think there's one more up because this is pretty much part of a bigger flat. This might go a little more, but it's going to go up. May break the top and then come. There's a rare chance that this is ending the structure the way it's ending here, right? This would just be a big correction for a little more up. Could it be we're coming down from that level and this is not a running flat? Let's take this off. Let's see if we can see whether this is not a running flat. Come on, remove all the drawings. Yeah. So I just need one line. I need the downtrend, right? Not because it's important, but because it's to tell me whether we're breaking out. See, it's an attempt to break out, but breaking out itself doesn't mean anything. See, this one was an attempt to break out. That didn't go anywhere. They came right back in, right? But they consolidate and then you trade. So this is coming back in. What we need, if we're going to get a downside, we need a consolidation here. That will confirm this trade down. Without that, this could go right back up because this looks very much like a running flat there, right? Or expanding flat. So go to the 4 hour. And if we're going to negate that because we still have this, right? If we're going to say that this is not going to go down, negate it. We just have to make sure that this consolidates. And if we get this, we'll probably say, well, this belongs to something else here. Not the best one, but you can make an argument for that and go down. I would like to see it look similar. So for me, this is the consolidation. And this is a very similar structure to this one. So I'm expecting it to go back up one more. Any impulse and correction would be buy. Any correction here would be sell. So it has not small correction. I mean really big correction. The small flags you're getting are short-term trades within the impulse. So if you're taking this one or you're taking this one, those are short-term trades. Be careful. They can go back up or they can start to make big consolidation. That would be the trade setup for the longer-term trade. Hong Yen. This is coming down and this doesn't have to stop. This could just keep going. Put it in the daily. We're at the top. We broke the low. This could just keep going down. So there is a big move in this. Either they will go break the top and then come, or they can drop right now as a pattern that exists, a running flat. That is the most popular pattern. It can drop right now. So all sells in the yen are good. If you make a bigger flag, it will be okay. It will confirm the longer time direction, but you can take small sells and let it go. All the sells here are good sells, see? Including this one. One of them will fail, which means one of them will stop, take you in, stop, reverse, or the bigger correction, and then drop. Right? One of them will do that. But you should take every single one of them you get until the last one fails. And then you wait for the bigger correction and you trade it down again. So we can see that all the pound pairs have a big move to the downside. Now they can still go some more up, some of them, and confirm the end of the structure before they go down. Or some of them might be starting the downside already, like the pound yen. Right? We know that pound New Zealand might have been starting that downside. It just had a little one more correction to complete the running flat, and that's perfect downside starting already. So what I'll do is probably go through all the pound pairs on a daily webinar and put it on YouTube for you guys this weekend. Follow it and please share it. New Zealand, Swiss. Okay, this is going down. It doesn't have a lot more to go, but it's still going. So some of my traders in this trade, if you're in the trade, watch it when it comes a little more because that will end this structure here. And then we'll be looking for upside. New Zealand CAD. Coming down. The question is how far it should come back to. It's not exactly this one, but it's similar, which means it can come back to about this level. And we look at this as a running flat for upside. So there's some downside. There's a sell setup here. You can see it on the 1 hour. It's coming down, not as aggressive as you would like it to go. This is the top. We'll go with that as the top because it broke the top. Or you're making another running flat here. You go back one more and then come down. So be careful if you're selling this, that it might not go very far to the downside. Cat Swiss. Going down. This might be the start of a big downside. This might be the start of a big downside, either like this and then go back up for a running flat. I think that's what we'll be looking at. Go back up. Or they totally drop to the bottom. And this was all the correction you had, right? Like this, drop, make a new low. I don't think we're making a new low. I think it's going to be running flat. So every sell setup you get, you can take. Right? And I think you're getting a sell setup here right now. What you can do is just wait for this to pull back. Wait for it. If you're not in the trade, just allow it to pull back like this and then sell. Then wait for the sell setup. Put the entry order under the low. It will pull back. Maybe not here exactly, but it's going to pull back a little up. Give you that running flat type pattern, and then you'll get a sell. Okay, we still have a lot to go, and time is already, I've consumed a lot of time in this. So I'm just going to do a couple of these. I'm going to just select, not all of them. Sorry about that. The webinar is way too long. Let's see. Wait for this to go up and then sell. Oil. Oil is interesting. You're consolidating in this range still. It's not going up, but eventually it will go up. So eventually this whole thing will make a move up, right? It will make a move up because we're still within this one. And this has a lot of consolidation. So this will, it could come even a little more, but they'll probably come here, break that top, and then the sell will start. So let it consolidate, stay out of it. If you can get small trades, take them, get in, get out very fast. If not, let it do what it's doing, and then you'll get it, you'll see where it goes from there. If you're in New Zealand, you want to be careful, right? My traders, New Zealand has come back pretty, it's at the bottom and it's starting to pull back. So you might want to consider booking profit or moving your stops very tight, right? In New Zealand, if you're in the, let's see, the yen, put a stop. Yen is going, not so quick, but it's going, right? Put it to break even. The Swiss, the entry order in the Swiss is a good thing. You see why we didn't buy the Swiss, but we're selling the Swiss. Keep this entry order. This doesn't mean it's going to fall, right? Don't take that to mean it's going to fall, because they can pull here and they can go back up and do this and then go back up, right? Make a running flat here. We know that. We've seen that. Actually, you have a very similar structure like that somewhere, either here, not this one. This one had these two sharp ones, but there's another one that we had that has those two sharp waves. Maybe not in this pair, right? So that by itself doesn't mean anything if you get two sharp waves in there. So don't try to sell it here, not on the break of the structure. This is too small. Let it break the low. Because if you sell here, they can go back up there, come here, give you a flat, and then go there and then come down, right? So we don't have a flat anywhere here. It's a very small flag. So stay under for now. Let's go. Go back to where we were. So we finished this one. I'm going to go very fast. The oil, both of them are the same thing. Natural gas, stay away from that. Okay, all of these, I don't think we'll do them. Let me pick S&P 500. They're pretty much giving you the same thing. It's still upside, but it's getting very, very low with momentum. See? If this starts to fall, you might want to go for the sell. We're getting a lot of divergence. Momentum is dying out. You're very high. Bigger structure says this thing could start to go down anytime. Literally anytime. See? This thing could start to go down anytime. And I would not be surprised if we actually get a big move down like this. Right? That would not surprise me before you go back. Something like that. See? That is quite possible. Not that we haven't done that before. We have done that on smaller scales, right? If you look back, you would see they do it very often, except they do it on a smaller scale, smaller running flats. I think this one belongs to this. I think this one belongs to this. We don't have anything for this. So somewhere in the future, you get it. Don't be surprised if it happens. You get a drop, and then they go back up. Right? They're probably going to go back up more, because this would be the second largest. This will be the second corrective structure in the monthly, if that happens. So DAX, same thing. It's going up, but you have to be careful as you get to the top there. 1 hour's buy setup. Small trades, take profit. Once they go, you take profit. This is consolidating at the top here for one more up. Probably go a little more up like that, take profit. Okay, we'll skip the rest. Too many. Let's see what Bitcoin is doing. Most of you watch it. You don't trade it, but you gauge it. It's coming back to the top here. Right? At this point, it's either going to break out or it's going to come back one more down. So if you're going to buy, you will have to either wait for a flag at the top here and buy. If you're buying this to the top there, wait for the flag, go take the trade. Once it comes here, you move into profit, because they can come back here once more and then go. This would just be a bigger correction, right? It's still upside. So go to the 15 minutes. Let's see. You have a flag for a buy. Yes, you had this flag. You had this one. Not going very aggressively, right? Comes there. See, like this here. Put it to break even, so that if they drop like this, drop here, make a flag, then you can sell back to retest the lows. Right? Or wait, and if it breaks out, good for you. One more up. Let's go. XRP, I'll do a few of them and then call it there. XRP, it's crawling up. So this is starting to look, on the 15, that is starting to look downside. Let's see what it looks like in the 1 hour and 4 hour. Consolidating. The 1 hour looks downside. The 1 hour is looking very much downside. This piece here, this consolidation. I lost the drawing tool now, so we'll just call it the webinar at the end. So, okay, guys, I'll end it here because it's way too long. I will try to see if I can put the rest out for you tomorrow, maybe early today if I have a chance. This weekend, I'll do all the punk trades so you can have an idea what they're going to do. If you like it, share it. All right? If you'd like to join us, go to Skype, send me a message. Take care, trade with care. See all of you later.